Okay, Mike Masato, CEO of Staff Driven Dental and the Dental Road Warrior, returning for episode 70 in the series. Long overdue, back in the game. Was without a Dental Road Warrior vehicle for a while, so it delayed me releasing this video, but back on the road, and I have a huge subject that I want to discuss today because I've gotten to the point in doing this for as long as I'm doing this that I think that a lot of you that are watching this, that are dentists and staff, we're missing the boat on a really gigantic issue, because I bring this subject up many times, and it's yet to sink in, I think, about just how critical and how vitally important it is to the success of the growth of your practice. So here it is, okay? Here's the question of the day if you're watching this. What is the lifeblood of your practice? What is the lifeblood of your practice? Let's think about it for a minute, because I hear it every time I sit with a doctor when it comes to what they're looking for in the practice. Every single one of them will tell me, I need more new patients. That's all we hear about is new patients, new patients, new patients. And everybody watching this would agree that if I asked you what's the most important thing we got going on there to help grow the practice, it would be new patients. We need more new patients. It is the lifeblood of your practice. But I don't understand if we all conceptually get that new patients are the lifeblood of your practice, why then are we so nonchalant, cavalier, negligent, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to handling of new patients? I just don't get it. It's so important when we actually get a new patient to schedule to come in, that the way the whole system we put them through is just, when I look across the board, it's just so notoriously bad. Because the whole thing about new patients should be, the purpose of getting new patients is what? To retain them. Right? We want to get patients not only to reach out to our practice and schedule with us, but the long-term goal is we want to retain these people. And my goal is to make every new patient that walks into practice a lifetime patient. And to me, a lifetime patient, and I've talked about this before, your goal should be, the magic number we're looking for is, can we retain these people on average of 8 to 10 years? We could average it all out, that we knew that every time a new patient, walked into our practice and they walked out after their first visit with the realization like, wow, I found my dental home. This is my new dentist. I want to stay here and bring my family here. That every one of those patients would stay an average of 8 to 10 years. Now, that doesn't happen in a lot of cases, all right? Sometimes people stay for a day and never come back. Sometimes they stay there 20 years, but you average it all out, 8 to 10 years is the wheelhouse we're looking to hit, right? Because if we knew that, we could do some calculations about the long-term viability of our practice based on these retention numbers. So my question to you is, do we have a system in place there that guarantees, ensures this is going to happen? And the answer to that question is usually no, because new patients, I constantly see these new patients, there's like no intake system. Let's start with that. A person calls the office, and how we talk to these new patients on the phone, the questions we're asking them, the attention that we give them, the caring and interest we show to these patients, right? It's usually so minimal in most cases, or we're just so quick, we're so excited that they called up, we just can't wait to get them in the book, and we schedule them. And of course, where do we schedule them? Throw them right into hygiene, and we just throw them into hygiene because they're calling up and they're asking for hygiene, and I haven't been to a hygienist, and I need a cleaning, and we accommodate them. And we don't even know who they are. We've never met them. We haven't diagnosed them. We haven't built a relationship with them, which is the whole important thing. You have a lifetime to build, to do treatment on patients when they get there, to wow them with how great you are and everything you need to do for them and everything. But the most important thing is getting that patient to get there and make sure they're a qualified patient, and that we're going to retain them, and that they trust you and they believe you and they like you. And this is all part of the new patient experience, which I've discussed on these videos before, but I don't think it's still sinking in. And the first thing you should be doing when you're done watching this video is to step back and go, wait a minute, let me analyze how we handle new patients in our practice, and does the way we handle them ensure that we are going to retain these people, for that 8 to 10 year wheelhouse that we're looking to hit there. And if the answer to that question is no, if you're not certain, and it's interesting to go back and do an analysis. Go back and run reports and see how many new patients you've had over the last 6 months to a year, and then look out from there and see how many people are still here, 6 months, a year later. That'll give you a good idea how effective we're being with our new patient experience. So this should be critical and vital that we are trained, all right, to create that. We've heard this wow effect. How many times have we talked about that wow effect? Okay, this is a service industry. Every business that's out there that you love to attend and go to, you love this. It's the service industry outside of dentistry or healthcare, even healthcare, is because the service is top notch. Unless you have no choice but to go there, which is like how medicine operates. They can get away with a lot of places like clinics and medical offices because we have nowhere else to go. That's where the insurance is going to cover, and that's what I got to deal with. And and a lot of times it's dehumanizing. They just don't care, and you can tell they don't care. We can't afford that. We don't have the luxury of that in dentistry. Right? People still don't get the big idea in general in the population how important dentistry is to the overall health or well-being of yourself. All right? They don't get it, and we need to do a better job of making people understand the importance of dentistry. When we say that 50% of the country doesn't go to the dentist, that's statistic is varied maybe, but it's still a huge part of the population doesn't get the big idea of the importance of dentistry and regular visits to the dentist, and half of those people that don't go don't even have dedicated dentists. They don't have a dentist. They say, oh, this is my home, my dental practice. But it all starts with the end in mind. If you want to have these people be there and retain them, and you recognize the value, how important new patients are, what are you doing about making that be a top priority? That should be the number one system. Lack of effective sales system is number one. Probably lack of an effective new patient experience is number two. How much time does the dentist actually spend? Here's another big question for you, docs. I'm putting you on the spot. How much do you actually spend on day one, the first time you meet a patient, with them? Face to face, knee to knee, quiet time, personal, to get to know the patient and their needs and their concerns, and to build a relationship and to build that trust and rapport and liking. And don't minimize liking. Because if they don't like you, they're not coming back to you, and they're not going to spend money on you either, right? This is all part of this new patient experience I'm talking about. And I have a thing called the doctor trust exam. It's like the 15, 20 minutes that the doctor spends on that initial first visit, and I challenge most people to say that I know out there, they don't spend more than 5 minutes, because a lot of times they're already into hygiene, they're already seeing other people, and they haven't even met you yet. And maybe it's kind of in passing. Hey, great to meet you, doc, and you're out the door. And it's so important that this relationship building that goes on day one, because this all contributes to the long. You can do it the other way. And look, I'm not saying you won't retain some patients, but isn't it a matter of percentages? Wouldn't you want to know that if you got 30 new patients in the door, that we retain 30 or as close to 30 as possible several months later, a year later? Of course we would. Why do we want 30 to come in the door just to keep 15 or 10? And this is what I see all the time. And I can tell you what hurts you the most is that we the minute a new patient is scheduled is almost that we start devaluing them from that minute. This has got to be the most important thing, that we know with certainty that when a new patient inquires to our practice, they're being handled properly from that first phone call. Who they're speaking to, what the person's saying, how it goes on the phone. Because like I said, the things I hear on phone calls, when I call offices, it's just incredible to me. That it's such a PR position, and it's so important that first impression. How many times have you heard you never have a second chance to make a first impression? And that first impression when new patients are calling. And a lot of times these new patients are calling doing what? They're shopping, right? So we better blow them away on this phone call. They better hear something that's special that they haven't heard before, or differentiates you between everybody else other than a price and insurance, okay? Because everybody's selling price these days. Everybody's pushing and making insurance be a priority these days. We have to show that there's more to it than that. There is something about quality. There is something about service that's important as well too, and experience coming in there and being cared for in a proper way. And there's a value in that. So that's why it's so important you have a system set up to do this, in your practice. And we don't think about it that way. We're just so excited to get new patients to show up, then we worry about the details later. No, you have to have a plan for this, from the first phone call to when they arrive, to every person they're contacting throughout their first visit there, to their exit interview, to their rescheduling, everything. And there are many components to the new patient experience which I can't get into in a 10-minute video. But I'm going to tell you, this is a wake-up call, right? Challenge yourself. I'm challenging you as a coach, right? What is your new patient experience like? What's going on with new patients, right? Are we devaluing the lifeblood of our practice by not giving it the care and attention and work and time with our team to develop ourselves and our practices better in that area? All right, I'm coming down off my soapbox now. But I am passionate about this because I said before, if we're going to fulfill our purpose in helping people get well and giving them great dentistry, it really starts with these new patients, right? And and every great patient you have in that practice right now that you can think of that you love, that's a great payer, and they bring their family and they referred friends, they started off as a new patient at one point too. And the reason why they're still there is because we nailed it on that first day. So again, let's not devalue our new patients by not taking these words to heart. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please share it with others and spread the word. And I'll be back with another episode before you know it.